you. So there was a lot of intense energies that came in. I wanted to talk about them so you understood beforehand. Did a little bit of preparation. These energies that came to Earth right now are being absorbed in, much like a sponge would absorb water, absorbed into the Earth, absorbed into people. Most people, didn't really notice anything tremendously out of the ordinary during this period. You, Shambra, all around the world, probably noticed more because you're more sensitive to energies now. These energies are absorbing in right now. June should be a very interesting month. Not necessarily for you. I would say June would be a relatively calm month, or a flowing month for you. Not boring at all, but flowing month. Rest of the world, they're going to start feeling that intensity. And you take in the combination of some of the solar and astrological events that are taking place. The heat of the summer, just the heat. Forget about all these woo-woo energies, just the warmer weather and the strange weather, strange weather, are going to affect people. It's going to hit them first in their bodies. Because these energies that are coming in serve a beautiful purpose. First of all, they are supporting or facilitating the physical change in the template of humans, the Adam-Cadman body. Literally changing the DNA, changing the biological structure, literally separating or pulling apart some of these Atlantean conformity energies that have been so much a part of biology. Particularly for those who are ready, and there's not many actually. Strange device. There are not many, but for those who are ready, this energy is literally going to go into their biology and start pulling them out of their family hereditary characteristics, pulling them out of their ancestral karma. And they're going to notice it first in their body. So often, Shambra, you look in the mirror, you contemplate your body, and it's really just, in a sense, a byproduct of your ancestors. Not really so much of your choosing, other than the accoutrements that you put on top of it or the way you clothe it. But your body, your physical body, is simply a byproduct of your damn ancestors. Yeah, for better or for worse, you see. What's happening now as these energies are coming in, for those who are ready, it's pulling apart, getting you out of that, getting you out of the whole ancestral thing. Some misunderstand the words that I say, think that it is about anti-family. Families are great as long as you didn't buy into them karmically, as long as you didn't lose the lottery and end up with a certain characteristics. This body should be and can be the byproduct of your own passion, your own soul, and your own choosing. What am I saying by that? Saying that with these intense energies coming in, literally, you could transform your body if you choose. The way you look, you start transforming some of the characteristics. If you're not choosing it, though, it's probably not going to happen to as much of a degree. But if you're saying, hey, this is my body, no longer belongs to this ancestral line, this is my life. It's not just a byproduct of my past life aspects. This is my mind. It's not just a byproduct of hypnotic programming. I am that I am. And then you start literally transforming your body, mind, your identity. We talked before about names. Many of you, some of you, have changed your name. It's perfectly understandable because that other name was generally one that your parents gave you. I mean, look at your name. Would you have called yourself that? Probably not. Not that your name is bad, but you probably wouldn't have called yourself that. So you're starting this whole transformation, these energies that came in this last month, huge, are what I would call separation energies. Separation energies. Now, there's going to appear to be a contradiction in what I say today, if you stay awake through the whole thing. Because later on you're going to say, but you just said it was about separation, and now you're saying it's about integration. Which one is it? It's both. It's both. Why? Oftentimes when opposing energies brought forth by fractured consciousness, mostly fractured mind thought, but sometimes consciousness, opposing energies are brought together in, he wants to sit, they are brought together in the same vessel. Nice. I sat. They're brought together in the same vessel, in your same body. Going to be very opposing energies. Your mind, they're almost melded, linked, or fused together, even though they are opposing. The characteristics, your desires versus what's manifesting in your life, very opposing or very different. The amazing thing is that humans have been able to do this, to grab some concepts and energy here, to grab constructs and thoughts over there. Totally what would appear to be, in its simple form, very opposing, but you'll be able to bring these in, roll them all together, compress them together, and fuse them together. And they don't necessarily belong together, ultimately. What you're going through right now is a period of separation. Separation from things that don't really serve you anymore, from concepts that really lay in the past, not necessarily yours anymore, by manifestations that definitely really aren't yours. But some of the manifestations, some of the things that are happening in your life right now are simply because of old routines and patterns that were started a long time ago. They're put into autopilot, and they continue. They continue to play out. They continue to reproduce the same results, even though your mind, your beliefs, your consciousness says, no, I want something different. So you've called in these amazing, massive energies, basically said, I need something to pull this stuff apart, to unravel it. And the fact is that so many of you did it gracefully. So many of you did it without massive body aches, because that's the first thing that generally happens, massive body aches during this time. Because you're going to feel things in your body first as the old constructs are unraveled. You're going to feel aches and pains, your spine, your shoulders, your head, these type of things. The good news is that you were able to breathe through it. You didn't get all into the mind about it. You didn't panic about it. And even as we're sitting right here, right now, there's a tremendous amount of continual transformation in your body. And I brought up the point about your ancestral karma. It's one of the big ones, one of the big glues that you have to your body, one of the things that binds you to it. It's not that the ancestors had bad genes or bad attributes, although there are some disease characteristics that are woven into all this. It's not that it was bad. It's just not yours. Just not yours. And the question becomes, what is? The question that I have right here for you is, let's say that the body can be transformed. What do you choose? What do you want? Well, the first thing should be a release of some of these ancestral diseases, heart disease, diabetes, cancer. So many of these things literally are flowing in through the ancestral line, flowing right into your body. Your body is filled with potential diseases right now that were flowed through. And it's not just the disease, it's the root of the very disease that comes through as well. What causes cancer? hatred. So hatred starts the process, and then this energy of cancer flows through it. It goes into the ancestral karma, into your blood, into your DNA, and it's there. It's not really yours. It doesn't belong to you. So many of the other things. So now, right now, here at this wonderful moment is a great time to let those go. They're really not yours. Things like aging, of course. Everybody wants to be younger. But even the attributes of aging, you can track it on a chart, how long your ancestors have lived or when they died. That really doesn't belong to you anymore either. Thank you. It doesn't belong to you anymore either, so you can let that one go. Does that mean you're suddenly going to get younger? Maybe, possibly. You're going to start acting a little bit younger because you don't have that overlay of the clock ticking. Of like, my mother only lived to be 74, or my father died when he was 58. So you feel that clock ticking within you. Well, it is. It's programmed right in there. You let that go. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get younger, but you're no longer on somebody else's biological death clock. Other attributes, your physical attributes, carrying weight can be very much something from your ancestors. So you inherit that, you bring that in. My dear friends, this energy that just came in is here to support you in loving separation from the things that are not yours. And guess what? You can't do this from your mind. You've tried. It doesn't work. You've tried to say, I'm going to force myself to change in these ways. I'm going to force myself to be slimmer, to be younger. Doesn't work. It's very mental. The mind cannot stimulate enough energy to pull it off. Energy comes from passion and clarity. The mind can think all at once, but it's never going to get you to drop 10, 20, 30 pounds. Matter of fact, just the opposite. You'll fool yourself. Your mind will fool you for a short period of time, thinking that you're losing weight, and you get on the scale, and you might be. Guess what? All the time you've got this other energy at work built in that's really not yours. That's actually already putting the pounds back on, and even more. Even more. Notice when you go on a diet, as soon as you go off, you gain even more. These energies that just came in, if you breathe them in, and if you trust yourself and you can enjoy life, stop worrying about things, they actually support the release of many, many, many old systems, stinky systems, things that really weren't yours. In the mind, that's where it comes next, in the mind. And that's what you're going to notice more in June. These are absorbing in. It's going to start going into mind constructs, not just belief systems, but literally the way the mind works and processes energy and cranks out your thoughts. How many of your thoughts are not yours? Take a guess. Somewhere between 90 and 95% really aren't yours. Really aren't yours. They come from aspects. They come from mass consciousness. They're coming from the person sitting right next to you. They come from historical recordings or the memory banks of the mind. And when I say the memory banks of the mind, really aren't yours. Really aren't yours. It's a separation. Separation. Why? Because those mind thoughts that are stored in there, particularly the ones in the categories of belief systems, fears, concerns, those type of things, those were developed when you were very young, for the most part, the basis of them, or even in another lifetime. They were developed in a previous lifetime, even if it was in the same biological period that you're in now. In other words, you are 10 years old, 20 years, 30 years old, doesn't matter. That was a different lifetime. That was a different lifetime. Truly it was. And it's not necessarily yours. So these energies of separation are coming in to facilitate removing that. What can you do? Well, best thing is to watch a good movie and laugh. Best thing is not to worry about it because you called them here. You asked for these intense energies, and they have to be intense to pull off this sort of thing. You called for them to be here. Now you don't need to do anything, really, other than a little breathing, little remembering your choices, a little going back to the very reason why you're still here on this planet. The very core question that I ask, do you want to stay or do you want to go? Where's the music? So this month you're going to notice it more in the mind, but like some of you, it can be a joy ride. It doesn't have to be the old way of doing it, going through mental breakdown. Some will. You know, there was let's say a part of you, that's the true essence of you, basically said, I don't care. And most of you actually have said that. I don't care what it takes. I just want to get it done. I don't care what it takes to get out of this pattern, out of the old human process. And I understand, do I understand? Having been locked in a crystal for, have I told you that story? Would you like to hear it again? There's a few that haven't heard the story. Twice you heard it, yes. So I truly understand. And then you try to punch your way out. You try to believe your way out. You try to connive your way out, lie your way out, anything it takes until you finally let go and say, I don't care. Then the energies can come in, and then they actually do it for you. You're going to ride this incredible wave of separation. But why separation? Haven't you gone through enough of that? No. Why separation right now? Sure, it unglues some of the things that you've been stuck to, unglues energies that really shouldn't be together anymore, into belief systems, into your biology, your ancestral karma, your relationships with your past lives, and all the rest of that. It unglues that. But what's it really doing? Freedom. Absolutely. Absolutely. Setting it free. Setting you free. And isn't that what you really asked for? Freedom. Freedom from the past. Freedom from mass consciousness. Freedom from old ideas. Freedom from old patterns. That's really what you asked for, is freedom. Freedom for yourself. So many of you just want to sing out, literally or figuratively. How many of you want to soar, want to break free? You could almost feel it. You're almost there. It's like, just that one last push and I'll be out. And that last push was actually these incoming energies. And they do set you free. They will put some people out and down. Some people who have not been around the block like you have been. Truly. Some people particularly who are full of Machio. What's Machio? So I don't have to say it anymore. Machio is your spiritual distractions. Machio it comes in when the awakening process starts. It's like just when you really feel good, you're going to do this awakening thing, you're going to be spiritual, that's when the Machio really comes in. I mean, in spades. In multipliers of Machio. You've all seen it. You've all done it. You've all experienced it. But that Machio comes in, and these energies of separation are going to pull the Machio out. There's a lot of people that are invested in their Machio, deeply invested in Machio. I mean, literally, on a business. Machio business. Machio spiritual business. Machio spiritual books. They're deeply invested in their Machio, so it's very hard for them to let go. I give you a lot of credit, all of you, for, first of all, understanding what Machio is, and then releasing it, getting down with yourself. So these energies, an amazing thing, but they are about separation. Why? because separation gives you freedom. Separation frees a lot of energy. It frees a tremendous amount of energy. Imagine going into the insane asylum and unlocking all the doors and letting everybody out. It's better on for the insane asylum. Doesn't take so much to keep the place going. Everybody's gone. And the beings that were there weren't yours to begin with. Maybe you could turn the insane asylum into a true spiritual center now. It has been a crazy house. They had everybody locked up. But really, they had you locked up. Until you brought that master key in, said, I'm going to let them all out. I can't handle them anymore. Can't manage them. They're not getting any better. They're getting worse. And on top of that, I'm going to be within this place myself. So you walk in, turn the key, let them all out. Releasing a tremendous amount of energy. And once they're let out, they actually get better. Once they're let out, you are relieved of a lot of responsibility and obligation for trying to treat the lunatics. And you can't. You can't treat yourself like that, you see. So it's a tremendous time of wonderment, absolute wonderment going on. June, you're going to feel it more in the redoing of the mind patterning. It's going to come in, it's going to clear out a lot of old things that really don't belong to you. The house cleaning, literally, going through, reorganizing. It's going to change also the way energies are taken in by the mind and used for processing. The biggest factor is what we've talked about the last 2 months, the melding now or bringing back into harmony of mental and creative. Mental has been the lunatic locked in the bin. You let that out, discover that it's really not lunatic after all. The lunatic thing was putting it in the bin, in this insane asylum. You let it out, and now it can mingle with creative. Amazing creative. Creative that is going to be profound. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. And I'm going to talk about what to do to really get that grounded. New ideas that are going to come from your brain, from yourself, so grand, so dynamic, you're going to think that they're crazy. You're going to hold back on some of the things that you are starting to realize. You're going to say, I can't talk to people about this. They're going to think I'm nuts. And when you do, I'm going to be right there to say, no, talk, speak, get those ideas out. Speak them. Do them. Why? Well, if you don't, you're going to be really disappointed in yourself, and you're going to go back into the insane asylum. If you don't, the world's not going to have the benefit of these grand insights. So, this month will be a very, very interesting month from the mind standpoint. The rest of the world's going to be going to hell, but you're going to be riding the wave.